Welcome back to the All-Speed Basketball Coaches Show, presented by our friends at TriStar Beverage. Brian Reeves with you on a Monday night. Each and every Monday night moving forward from 6 to 7. We'll be live from Buffalo Wild Wings in Clarksville, just off Wilma Rudolph Boulevard, to talk all things Austin B hoops, men's and women's. Just got done wrapping up with Coach Brittany Young. Glad to be joined now by the head coach of the All-Speed men's basketball program. Coach Nate James joins us in the studio. First and foremost, thank you for taking the time to come join us. Thank you for making all the detours that Mother Nature laid in our path today. 2-2 overall in the A-Sun. 8-9 record for this men's squad. You and I have been through this from the tip-off at NC State through the win last Saturday at Central Arkansas. I tell people, and there was a lot of buzz after Saturday's game, I said that's probably the first time Coach James could look down the bench and, with the exception of Elijah Perkins with his hand, see what the basketball team he fully expected back in August and September to see on the bench. You're finally getting to play your guys. This is finally your team starting to come together. I know that's got to make you feel positive after coming off two big wins at home in the Dunn Center.
It does. You know, the first two games of the conference play, you know, we're on the road and we're playing some good ball, you know, and as a coach, you always tell your team, look, 40 minutes. But it actually does take that long of playing exceptional basketball in this conference to win. And when you have a depleted roster with injuries and sicknesses and everything that was going on that this short changes in terms of our rotation guys, it makes it challenging. And so now to have more depth, it helps tremendously. So, you know, where I can throw extra bodies at people, I can switch different lineups, I can have a big lineup, long, athletic, and just so I love the versatility of our players, but the depth is nothing like it. And obviously depth that you can actually use.
Yes.
And our guys are responded, and it's been the difference.
It's been a huge difference. And again, this team 8-9 overall. And I talked to Coach Young about this a little bit as well. I'm going to give you just basic numbers. Team that shoots 43% from the field. A team that shoots 35% behind the arc. 75% at the free throw line. Rebounding, I think this team still has some room to become a better rebounding team, sending 3 or 4 to the glass instead of just 1 to the glass. But I'll ask you this. You and I sat and talked at Buffalo Wild Wings back in mid-October. Now here we are, January, getting ready to get in the heart of A-Sun play. Where do you think your team has improved the most since the first game out against North Carolina State to getting ready to take on Lipscomb this Thursday night? Where have you seen the most improvement from your young men?
Well, it's the buy-ins to defensive end.
Okay.
And our defense is really starting to ratchet up, and I think when you have guys who believe that they're offensive players and they don't quite want to buy into the defensive end, you hear it enough times, and all of a sudden you realize, like, hey, we're not scoring it maybe as well as we thought we could, but our defense has kept us in some games.
Yes, it
and
is.
This last 2 games in particular, you know, we were able to win, and we were terrific on the defensive end because we kept teams below, you know, obviously their averages, whether it be threes or just, you know, slowing them down. I mean, we just finished playing Central Arkansas. They were the 13th ranked team in the country in offensive pace.
Yep.
So buying into the defensive end is a huge part of who I think this team's identity is going to be. And to your point, our defense will be better
the fresher we finish,
the fresher, and if we get the rebound.
There you go.
You know, a lot of times we play with a good defense and then you don't get the rebound, and then you have to now play another 20, 30 seconds, and that's challenging.
You know, I go back to even Western Kentucky. The defense you played against them, knowing what they wanted to do to you behind the three-point arc and running them off and putting hands in faces and not letting them have the looks that they want. I even go back, unfortunately, to the loss at Murray State. As much as it pains me, that's a team that averages in the upper to mid-80s, and you're sitting there combining them and slapping them down to 68. And really, I thought we controlled the pace of that game, with the exception of about a 3-minute span towards the end of the second half. That was Austin Peay basketball. That was the pace and play that I think you defensively wanted. And I think, and you look at the numbers this past weekend, 59 to Florida Gulf Coast, a team that was in the 80s average-wise. Central Arkansas hold them to 62. Yes, they were missing some pieces, but that's still a very respectable number. On the season, holding teams to 70 points as your average, that gets me excited moving forward. And you mentioned we present some matchup problems. I mean, there's not a lot of people that can throw a Cam Copeland with that length at a 2 or a 3, or even a Caleb Stone Carroll, hopefully getting back healthy at a 2 or a 3, or have the athleticism at the 5 that you have with Sean and Elijah that can really pull the bigs out. And I thought that was the difference we saw Saturday, making the bigs that had to defend out at 15 to 20 feet away from the basket, and they just weren't comfortable creating some offensive opportunities. And again, starting to see this team gel together. Where's the next step you think this team needs to take? I know you said the buy on the defensive end. Is it just consistency on the offensive side? Is it hitting the glass? Where do you still see room for improvement?
Well, playing with one another. That chemistry doesn't just happen. That's why, I'm trying to preach the defense, because the defense right away can come together.
Yeah.
And the offense takes some time, getting to know your game, and where guys want the ball, what are their pet moves, and how to just get those lineups that are foreign now, but they shouldn't be, but because of the injuries,
they haven't had the time.
You haven't had the time, yeah. And so you don't want to be going through that, in conference play, but that's where we are, and I just like the fact that we seem to be getting closer as a group, enjoying playing, and you know how it is. Just kids in general, they're not choking each other. You want them just to be around each other and enjoy the presence of one another. And I think we're starting to see that.
And you and I joked about this on a post game when we got done when school went out. You had a couple of weeks right going into Murray that it was just ball. Yeah. It was just your team, the gym, and ball. It didn't have to go to the library. It didn't have to hit study hall. They could be kids together. They could go play Madden in the dorm room or whatever they want to do to build that kind of chemistry. And you're starting to see the results of that. Nate James with us here on the Austin Peay Coaches Show. Let's take a quick time out. We come back. We're going to go over the 2 wins this past week. A big win on Thursday night over Florida Gulf Coast, and a huge win on Saturday against Central Arkansas. And then what does he think about the scheduling quirk coming up, seeing the same team in a home-and-home series this Thursday, Saturday? Thursday night, 8 p.m. tip. The Lipscomb Bison will be in town. We go to Lipscomb on Saturday with a 4 o'clock in the afternoon tip. You can get tickets online at letsgopeay.com or call the ticket office at 931-221-P. More with Coach Nate James when we return, powered by TriStar Beverage. This is the Austin Peay Basketball Coaches Show on the Governor Sports Network.